Good evening and welcome to Hope TV News Watch on the 7th day of October 2022. So glad you could make time for us to update you on the latest stories making headlines. My name is Grace Angoi and a sign language interpreter tonight is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says that the government, through the Kenya Meat Commission, KMC, will undertake a livestock offtake program to cushion pastoralists from the devastating effects of the ravaging drought. Gachagua, who spoke on Friday following a meeting with representatives from county governments and development partners, said there is an urgent need to scale up intervention measures as drought continues to worsen in over 20 arid and semi-arid lands. Dolly Murigi Mbuvi tells us more.
The government is committed to mitigation efforts targeting Kenyans affected by drought. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said the reach will extend beyond the traditionally identified as SALS counties. Gachagua, who met development partners and governors from affected counties, said there's need for urgency in the affected counties.
Again, in terms of livestock intervention, we note with a lot of concern the destruction of livelihoods. Livestock herders who have lost livestock have become impoverished and their lives almost coming to a halt. As a part of the mitigation, we have agreed with the Kenya Meat Commission and the Kenya Red Cross within the ambit of the county coordinating teams that we shall purchase livestock for slaughtering and distribution to the needy population for feeding, and at the same time, we prepare corned beef for distribution to the schools.
The Deputy President further said that all water agencies across the country will mobilize 100 water buses to be deployed in worst affected areas to address the challenges of water shortage, further saying the intervention efforts will also involve Kenya Defence Forces personnel.
Again, the Kenya Defence Forces have agreed to provide water rigs to engage in an emergency drilling exercise to drill as many boreholes as practically possible in various parts of the country. Again, the Ministry of Water has given a proposal that we are discussing with the Treasury on how we can obtain more water tanks and also contribute in drilling more boreholes in the areas that are required.
To enhance transparency and accountability, Gachagua said all food meant for those affected will be received and distributed by the county coordinating teams, adding that all food aid will be documented from the point of receipt up to distribution. He appealed to the development partners and international community to consider helping the Kenya government with more resources to boost the interventions already in place. With Nyeri County being among the affected, it is set to receive relief food starting Monday next week. About 55,000 people are facing starvation due to prolonged drought in Kieni. Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga has said that the food distribution would cover Kieni East and Kieni West sub-counties, which have been worst hit by the raving drought.
Looking at what we also have potato seeds that will be also distributed. Especially the beans, I think we are giving across all over the county to all wards, but the potatoes are specific. I think they'll be going to Kieni. Si kweli? Watu wa Kieni walime viazi so that we are able to ensure we have food security.
According to the latest report by the National Drought Management Authority, NDMA, 3 counties of Laikipia, Tana River and the Rakanithi have joined Isiolo, Mandera, Garissa, Turkana, Wajir, Samburu and Marsabit County, bringing the number of counties in alarm phase to 10. Dolly Murigi Mbuvi for Hope TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Dolly, for that report. Now, Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke has surrendered himself to the authorities at the Milimani Law Courts following a High Court ruling that upheld his 67-year jail sentence over fraud. On Thursday, High Court Judge Esther Maina ordered Waluke to pay 1 billion shillings fine or serve 67 years in jail for fraud. As Kennedy Kimani now reports, Waluke is charged alongside Grace Wakungu, who both have 5 counts against them. When count 1, Waluke and Wakungu are charged with fraudulently receiving money from the National Cereals and Produce Board for maize that was never supplied.
A day after High Court Judge Esther Maina upheld his 67-year jail sentence over fraud, Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke on Friday surrendered himself to the authorities at the Milimani Law Courts in Nairobi, where he was detained at the basement cells awaiting transfer to prison. According to Judge Maina, the charges were proven beyond a reasonable doubt and the sentence is not excessive because it is within the law. Waluke was charged alongside Grace Wahungu and Erat Supplies and General Contracts Limited, a company where the two are shareholders. Waluke and Wahungu, through the company, were supposed to supply 40,000 metric tons of maize to NCPB in the year 2004, but ended up pocketing the said amount without supplying even a single grain of maize. Waluke and Wakungu were sentenced for 67 and 69 years respectively, but have been granted the option of paying fines in excess of 1 billion Kenya shillings each. If Waluke fails to appeal against the decision, he will lose his parliamentary seat because he will have been jailed for more than 6 months. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Thank you, Ken, for that. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party leader Raila Odinga has said that foreign powers conspired to rig him out of the August presidential elections. Speaking on Thursday during the launch of ODM's party executive director Oduor Ongwen's book, Stronger Than Faith, Odinga accused European countries of undermining the election to deny Kenyans freedom of electing leaders who advocated for their liberation. He said that some Western countries opposed to African liberation and freedom since independence were behind the ploy to ensure his presidential bid did not materialize.
The right-wing coup d'etat, electoral coup d'etat that took place on the 5th of, on the 5th, on the 15th, on the 15th of August. You saw the chairman of the Electoral Commission running like a thief to go and announce the results. And the bigger part of the commission saying, no, these are not the results. The international community cannot condemn that kind of action. Why? Because they knew what was happening. It can only happen in Africa. It cannot happen in Europe. It cannot happen in the United States. It is only here is where the chairman of Electoral Commission goes alone with the chairman of 7 commissioners. But he goes alone there to announce the results, and then they say he's the hero of the day.
Former President Uhuru Kenyatta says he will not be attending the African Union AU peace talks on Ethiopia due to other engagements. Uhuru cited conflicts in his schedule for skipping the AU-convened peace talks, which will be taking place this weekend in South Africa. The former head of state, who is now Kenya's peace envoy, however, requested to be furnished with what he termed as the rules of engagement for any future peace talks to aid in his preparation and participation. In his statement, Uhuru hoped that among the most urgent issues in the agenda will be the immediate and unconditional cessation of hostilities in the neighboring country. The Kenya Psychiatric Association, KPA, wants the government to implement the Mental Health Task Force report, which recommends more funding to mental health care institutions and for National Assembly to implement the mental health policies. According to Kenya Psychiatric Association President Bernard Chitayi, there are a number of stress factors that have contributed to the increase in mental health cases, including poverty, problems within families, ethnic tensions, substance use, school systems that are stressful, among others.
Institutions should seek to build capacity to be able to handle these issues right from the school environment. So destigmatizing campaigns, even among students, can help, but also training of our teachers to respond better to mental health problems, and employing professionals like counseling psychologists in schools will help so that these students who have serious issues can be identified, assisted, and rehabilitated, because mental disorders are treated.
Any medical ward, in any hospital in Kenya, in fact, perhaps even in the world. People who have gone there because they have diabetes, hypertension, that sort of thing. Up to 40% of them will have a mental health need that more often than not goes unrecognized. In fact, the numbers are shocking. If you go, for example, to a ward where you are treating people with, say, strokes or cancer for that matter,
The Roots political party has officially announced Robert Sifuna as the party's candidate in the Bungoma County senatorial race. The party, led by George Wajakoya, has said it is ready for the by-election on December 8th, as announced by the IEBC Commission. IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati, in a Gazette notice, asked political parties to submit the names of those who are aspiring to succeed the former Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula to be submitted by October 19th. Additionally, political leaders targeting the Bungoma senatorial seat were required to resign from their position 7 days after the declaration of a vacancy in the seat.
It's my first time vying because I believe that everybody is allowed to dream kiwango yake. My dreams are big for the people of Bungoma. My dreams are big, and I believe I'm at the right place at this point in time. I believe niko na nia njema kwa watu wa Bungoma. I believe I can serve them well, and through Roots Party, because we know hii shida ya employment imeleta because watu cartels meingia katika kilimo chetu. Bungoma County is an agricultural land.
If Ruto came in power, we are coming in power in 2027. Let nobody deceive anyone. Ruto's time has come. Our time is coming. It's just because God wanted us to do this. So, but if Ruto wants to work with us, he can borrow from us. He's already borrowing my policy on the police. He has borrowed, and I like him for that, because at least he has gone out of the box and he's looked at what Roots was doing. Now the police will get money directly from the treasury. He has also borrowed this idea of banning blue uniforms, which is a Roots Party manifesto. As much as he's trying to implement our manifestos, the best thing that we are looking at is not because of coming out crying, pray that, oh, the president is now stealing from us. Now, if it's for the benefit of Kenyans, so what?
Those ones who think I don't have experience, those ones who think that they have experience and then wenyewe walirudi nyumbani walifutwa kazi na wananchi. The people who can employ a senator ni wapiga kura, sio mtu binafsi. And I believe those ones who think that because they are being endorsed or they have actually a big problem, because I believe I will go down to the ground niombe kura kwa wapiga kura, na through the manifesto that we have, through the good things that Roots Party is offering to the people of Bungoma, I know they'll give me an opportunity to serve.
Away from that, let's move to Narok County, where drivers who ferried election materials for IEBC in Kilgoris on Friday protested outside IEBC offices for a second day, demanding payment for services rendered on the 9th of August this year. According to their leaders, drivers transporting material from Zone A, B, and C were to be paid 15,000, 35,000, and 45,000 respectively. However, it is reported that about 50 contracted drivers received much less than the agreed payment through bank deposits from the officials. IEBC officials are yet to respond to the claims.
Mbona hiyo pesa basi wangetulipa venye tulikuwa tumeelewana? Wamerudi wameanza kulipa pesa 9,000, 7,000 kwenda kuulizia eti tunaambiwa kwamba eti tutaangaliwa. Kwani hii ni Kenya ya kuangaliwa ama hii Kenya ni Kenya ya sasa? Sasa sisi kusema ukweli tunadai haki yetu. Na sasa hizi mtu tumefikia tunadai haki yetu. Sisi sio wezi. Tulifanya kazi ya IEBC na sisi ni mahasara. Sasa kama ni mahasara, sisi ndio tulipo pesa yetu, tufanyie kazi yetu, tupelekee watoto wetu shule.
Tangu hii miaka yote ingine ambayo imepita tulikuwa tunalipwa vizuri, lakini sasa hizi tunaomba Chebukati afuate hiyo mwenendo ya hiyo wakati yote na tupewe haki yetu.
Tulifikisha box kwa kituo na tukarudisha katika tallying center ambapo ni Kilgoris Boys. Yes. Na kutoka wakati huo hatujalipwa pesa zetu. Na ile pesa ilianza kulipwa jana, inaanza kulipwa pesa hatujui kama ni down payment ama ni ya kutuonga tunyamaze ama ni ya kutufanyia nini.
Let's now take our first break on Hope TV News Watch. We'll be back with more stories that don't go away.
Feel the music in the violin.
Safari na umbali umetufikisha.
Give them your best and show them that they can do it, even though other people see that they can't.
When we started out as a station, we thought of you, our listener, and our viewer, how that we would bring hope to your life, and you chose and stuck with us. Then we realized that we needed strategic partnership that would help us keep the message of the gospel live 24/7 round the globe. And you chose to partner with us by advertising with us, or by giving through the Friends of Hope initiative, or simply by being an anonymous sponsor. This Customer Service Week, from the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you, our esteemed listener and viewer, for believing in our product, the message of hope to the nations. Happy Customer Service Week from Hope FM and Hope TV.
Thank you for staying with us. Moving on, President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to make every effort to reverse the effects of climate change while adapting to sustainable ways of living and working for their benefit and future generations. The president spoke Friday while holding talks with the president of the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference, Alok Sharma, at State House, Nairobi. In the meeting, which was also attended by UK High Commissioner to Kenya, Jane Marriott, President Ruto confirmed Kenya's total commitment to green energy. The head of state also held talks with the U.S. Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Mike Hammer, where the envoy affirmed U.S. efforts in supporting peace and security, particularly in Ethiopia and DRC.
How are you? You're well? Thank you. Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Mike, how are you?
Concerns have been raised over rising cases of snake bites in Baringo County, with 6 people losing their lives in the last few months. Anti-venom shortage has hit local facilities as experts cite effects of drought and climate change as the reasons for increased snake attacks. The county, in partnership with Snabik Kenya, has since launched a sensitization campaign targeting Kaptara and Kapluk areas where the attacks occurred. The chief officer of the veterinary department in Baringo County, Dr. Winnie Bore, said that a total of 378 cases of people being bitten by snakes have been reported in different areas of Baringo County between January and September this year, while the exact number of deaths is yet to be determined.
Katika Baringo County kutoka January 2022 mpaka sahi September 2022, 387 people wamepata kuumwa na nyoka. 387. The 387 ni wale ambao walikuja kwa hospitali. Si kuna wale wafiki. Si kuna wengi ambao wanapotelea kwa njia. Wengine tunawapoteza, wengine wakuji. So nikiangalia namba ya 387, tuseme sasa wale wafiki pengine nusu ya hii. So karibu watu 600 tuseme saa hii wameumwa ama wamepoteza maisha yao. Na hiyo ni shida, kupoteza watu 600 kwa nusu mwaka si kitu ndogo.
Stakeholders in the transport sector and cargo have called on President William Ruto to intervene and form a task force to investigate why the order he gave regarding port operations has not been fully implemented. Speaking in Mombasa after a peaceful protest, the stakeholders, including South Sudan and Kenya cargo agents and the Kenya International Freight and Warehousing Association, expressed dissatisfaction that cargo is still being transported using the standard gauge railway SGR.
Stakeholder be restrained, particularly the shipping lines, from introducing any new changes for cargo nominations by importers as directed by the President, whether the nomination is done at the port of loading or here at the port of destination. Last, and this is very important, those people with the audacity to defy the directive by the President, who is the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of Kenya, the authority bestowed in that office is by Kenyans who voted for him.
President of Public Directive is very clear during inauguration. All our presidents were there. All cargoes, no exception, revert to Mombasa for handling and clearance. The same position from our government of South Sudan. All cargoes should revert to Mombasa for handling and clearance. We are not against SGR. Number two, as a business community from the region, EAC, Uganda, Rwanda, whom the cargoes are not being touched even, the cargo remain here, is only South Sudan, cargo is being targeted. We said, why are you targeting our cargo? One, we are asking the KPA to respect this directive and please let our cargo come back because our people are suffering.
From Mombasa, let's move to Garissa County, where persons with disabilities now want a census exercise to be carried out to determine their full number to enable the county government to put in place measures that safeguard their interests. According to them, a huge number of persons with disabilities are struggling with poverty and unemployment. They lamented that access to medication was a challenge that needed to be looked into, as there were many who could not afford medication.
Wale watu ambaye umri yao haiwezi kufanya kazi, wale watu ambaye severely incapacitated, cash transfer system iangaliwe. Ya pili ambaye mimi nataka kusema na nitawachia hao wengine kusema, gharama ya hospitali, gharama ya matibabu katika nchi ni kubwa sana. Sisi tunataka governor akuje na scheme ya kukava watu ili tupate matibabu katika mahospitali.
Hiyo mambo ya census imeongelewa sana and is very important, hata sisi tujue tuko wangapi katika hii county, kwa sababu ile kugawana mali, kugawana contract, kugawana whatever, if he knows our number, at least he can consider us for anything that comes to the county government.
Tana Water and Sanitation Company, Tawasco, has Friday launched a crackdown exercise to disconnect illegal water connections and arrest people implicated in Hola, Bora, Madogo and Garsen towns. Managing Director of Tawasco, Engineer William Jilo, says Tana River has massive illegal water connections, depriving the water company of revenue. He urged residents to report rogue workers that may be involved in the illegal water connections for swift action.
Tumekuwa na changamoto kubwa kwa upande wa non-revenue water ambayo iko 70%. Hiyo ni kati ya zile figures ambayo ni kubwa sana Kenya mzima. Kwa hivyo tumeamua kuzunguka nyumba kwa nyumba tuangalie ni wapi maji inapotea, na tumeshika watu kadhaa wenye tutawapeleka kotini, na kuna programs zetu tunataka kuanzisha kuhakikisha kuwa hiyo figure 70% itakuwa inapungua. Kuna program ya kuongeza meters ndio tukue na tumeimprove ile metering ratio yetu, na pia kuna program ya install water billing system, sababu sahi tuna manual system yenye inakuwa ngumu sana kufanya billing. Customers wetu wengi wanaleta malalamishi kuwa hawapati zile bills. Tunashukuru county kwa hizo program, sababu hao ndio pia wanatusupply hizo meters, na tunashukuru pia bajeti imepitishwa juzi na tunatumai pia meters zitaletwa kwa wingi, na pia tunawashukuru county sababu wameimprove production yetu. Wamechimba visima viwili pale Malindi Angwena, kuna mradi pale Emmaus. Kwa ngao water supply tuna changamoto sababu sahihi mto umekauka. Tunajua kuwa mto ndio ilikuwa source of water yetu. Hiyo scheme ilikuwa inatoa maji around 900 cubic meter per day, na sahihi sasa hakuna kitu tunatoa huko, watu wanalalamika sana na hakuna maji. So tunaomba kama kuna stakeholders wowote wenye wanaweza kudrill boreholes watusaidie, wakuje wafanye kazi na
Kenya Pipeline Company Foundation has embarked on a project to grow 100,000 mangroves at the Kwajomvu section along the Tudor Creek in Mombasa County. Kenya Pipeline Company Foundation manager Banis Lemedeket called upon other stakeholders to come forward and partner in the restoration of mangrove forest in the region. The initiative is in partnership with the Kenya Forest Services, Kenya Defence Forces and the Kwajomvu community in their bid to restore the mangroves as they save the ecosystem.
We have Kenya Pipeline Corporation here, which has adopted this site. They started the activities last year. The total area they have adopted is 100 hectares. So the planting of mangrove started last year. Last year, a total of 106,000 mangroves were planted. And this time again, another target of 100,000 is to be planted. So we are very happy. We also work with other stakeholders. Remember, in conservation and management, we have to protect, we have to conserve, and therefore we also rely with other stakeholders like friendly forces, and you can see KDF is here. We also have the Ministry of Interior that we cooperate with very closely. So we are very grateful that stakeholders cooperate with us to manage these mangroves, to plant, to restore. As you can see, the area is very degraded, and I think by 2009, almost half of this area was degraded. So we are happy that since the realization that we need to restore the mangroves,
the Bajuni community in the country have called on President William Ruto to fulfill his promise and ensure that Bajunis will no longer have challenges in registering for identification cards. The residents call upon President Ruto to consider the Bajunis on government appointments. Additionally, they noted that it was time that they were recognized as a Kenyan tribe.
Leo tuko hapa ili kupeleka kilio chetu cha dhuluma ambazo tulizofanyiwa na serikali za awamu nne ambazo zilopita, ikiwa ni serikali ya hayati mzee Jomo Kenyatta, hayati mzee Daniel Arap Moi, hayati Kibaki na Uhuru aliyomaliza awamu yake hivi juzi. Kwa hivyo leo, kwa sababu awamu ya tano ndio leo tunaleta kilio chetu kwa serikali hii, ambao bila shaka kwamba tunajua kwamba Rais Ruto kwamba yeye ni mmoja katika kijana alotoka katika shida kubwa, na ni mmoja ambaye kwamba ni mchaji Mungu, ambaye anaelewa mambo mengi ambao yanaofahamika katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na leo tunashtakia kilio hiki kwa sababu tumefanywa dhulma ambao baada ya vita vya pili vya ulimwengu hakuna taifa lolote ambalo limezofanywa dhulma kama taifa la Kibajuni, na hususan awamu ya kwanza ya hayati Rais Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, ambaye mtu wa kwanza aliweza kuwatoa jamii ya Kibajuni ambao
On Hope Junction, every Saturday, get to enjoy songs that cater to the young and young at heart. and let the beat keep your head nodding.
Right now, but your love is amazing. We just
That's every Saturday on Hope Junction. From 10 a.m. Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Now to our business news. The Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife has entered into a partnership with Netflix, world's popular streaming service, in a bid to promote Kenya as a travel destination of choice globally. Kenya Tourism Board CEO Dr. Betty Redia said the ministry, through KTB and KWS, was leveraging the global visibility of Netflix to reach potential travelers within the region and across the world. The partnership will see Netflix, in conjunction with ministry agencies, Kenya Tourism Board, KTB, and Kenya Wildlife Service, KWS, highlight Kenya's tourism opportunities and products. Now to our sports news. Ferdinand Tomanyala, Beatrice Chebet, Jacqueline Chepkoech, and Julius Yego were among the 21 athletes who were presented with awards following their exploits in the just concluded Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK. The special gala event, hosted in Eldoret, saw these athletes appreciated for their valiant display at a tournament that saw the country emerge as the third African nation and 14th globally. Manchester United avoided an embarrassing defeat to Omonia Nicosia courtesy of a second-half comeback to win 3-2 in the Europa League after being behind at the break. In another fixture, a much-changed Arsenal side eased past Norwegian Minos Bodo, with Eddie Nketiah, Rob Holding and Fabio Vieira scoring to put the Gunners top of the Europa League group with a 3-0 win. And that sports news brings us to the end of this broadcast. Many thanks for keeping me company and for the team who made this a success. My name is Grace Ongoi, and a sign language interpreter tonight has been Boniface Morethi. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.